Welcome back to Uni Tunes. We're super excited to be here today with Oscar and Bianca of Euterpe, an alternative rock band from the depths of Sydney's inner west. Welcome.
Thanks, man.
Hello.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Round 2.
Yeah, welcome back. But before we jump right into it, I want to acknowledge and pay our respect to the traditional custodians on the lands on which we're on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. So, guys, you might remember when we start our episodes, we let the listeners get to know you through some rapid-fire questions. You ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Yes.
Fantastic. So first, nice and easy, what are your respective roles in Euterpe?
I'm the singer. I sing and I play rhythm guitar.
Fun.
Yes.
And yeah, I play lead guitar and do a little bit. No, actually, we'll leave that for the listeners.
Ooh, cheeky tease.
That's a cheeky tease.
That's very cheeky.
How long have you each been making music for?
Well, we've had a bit of different paths, I feel like.
Yeah.
I've been playing in bands since I was 12 years old, like when I started in year 7.
Wow.
I mean, I haven't been playing in good bands since I was 12 years old. I've been playing in good bands for about 2 years. Before that, I didn't really make music. In fact, I couldn't even play guitar when I started. I had guitar lessons, but I couldn't really play when I started a band.
Yeah.
Whereas you?
I only started like making music, or I guess songwriting, late teens. Before that, I was always like, doing music stuff, but nothing too committed. But yeah, I guess like what we're doing now, it only started with the band. I'd always been songwriting, but this is committed, definitely.
Yeah, cool. I feel like once you kind of have people that you have obligated your time to, suddenly you have to like really get good at your craft.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think we learn from each other as well. That's been the biggest thing, and build off each other's styles.
Yeah, right.
Thing is that I can't learn anything if I'm already like at the top.
All right, yeah.
So maybe
So
I'm like
I guess I'm learning, yeah.
There we go.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
Jokies.
So what would be your favourite artist right now?
Right now, that's a good question. Do you want to start so I can think about my answer for a bit?
So mean. I'll give, Tropical Beep Storm. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, why not?
Tropical Fuck Storm recently has been really doing it for me, and specifically the Golden Ratio. It's such a good song. And, this morning I was listening to, like, Ray Charles.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So...
Sick.
Recently, I saw this documentary with my partner about, like, it was called Welcome to the... Meet Me in the Bathroom, about, like, the New York early 2000s rock scene, so the Strokes and stuff. But it really put me on to the Rapture.
Yeah?
Is that what I think it's the Rapture? Is it just called... Oh my God, I can't believe I've forgotten the name of the band. The Rapture or something
Your
like that.
favourite artist right now, but I can't remember the name.
Yeah, that sounds ridiculous. I literally listened to them on the way here. They have this song... Well, they have an album called Echoes. And it's just like a really cool blend of, dance music and rock. And actually... Their producer at that time was James Murphy from LCD Sound System, and you can just hear it. And it's just so fun and, like, bouncy and, like, such good commuting music. Like, you're on the bus and it's got a nice beat and you're fucking chilling
Getting
out.
pumped up.
The Rapture. I think it's the Rapture, yeah.
Yeah, nice. I love records with Echo in the title. So
Yeah, that's
there
convenient.
You go. Nice segue.
Segue to the next rapid fire question, which is your favourite venue that you've both performed at?
Oh, that's asking
really
us to make
tough
some
question.
enemies here. No.
Maybe, I think the Bonnie View has a special place in my heart, honestly. But how can I pick one? The Alley's amazing. Oxford Art Factory is pretty special.
We've played a lot of venues, actually.
Yeah.
But I always thought, unfortunately, we couldn't bag it for this gig, but Wayward's in the Bank in Newtown, they just have great sound. Like, super nice, and the sound guys are just so uniquely nice.
Right.
And the Factory as well, which we're playing next week.
Yeah.
Like, we've had good experience at all these places.
Yeah, Wayward's was so good, though.
Yeah.
That was probably, like, the sound guy at Wayward's is just,
probably the most chill sound guy ever.
Yeah, and also just, like, very good. Like, that was probably the best we've ever sounded.
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely.
Because it's luck of the draw. You can't always be, the best. But that was just very special.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, fun. This is where it gets a bit difficult, but what would be your music unpopular opinion?
Oh, hot take.
I don't know.
My takes are, like, not that astounding.
Controversial. There's just some artists which I think are a bit overrated. That's like all my opinion. But I'm not going to go there because
You're not gonna name
a lot of people very angry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there's no, I actually can't. I have this really thing about, like, I don't want to, like, artists who are very successful, like, who am I to, like, say that they're overrated? And I don't want to bring...
No, but it's fun, come on. Obviously they're going to look at us and laugh.
Of the artists of the past decade, I do think Childish Gambino is a bit overrated.
Okay,
That's my unpopular
wow.
opinion. I think he's an amazing singer. He's an amazing screenwriter and actor, and he's super talented fucking polyglot basically. But I've tried to get into it to him, and I just can't.
That's interesting because Childish Gambino is probably one of the most referenced artists on this show, like in terms of
Really?
inspiration and just people saying
Funny.
their favorite.
Well, I actually saw him play. I think it was at Kudos Bank Arena where he played, and he was amazing. He had an amazing group with him, and as a singer, he's phenomenal. I think "Awaken My Love" is a great album, and I just his rapping, it's just doesn't do it for me. Like his early albums, Because the Internet, people love that shit. It's such a popular album, and I've tried, but that's my unpopular music opinion, my main one. Yeah.
Fair enough.
We're all entitled to our hot takes.
Even if they're bad.
Even if they're bad.
See, I'm not afraid to give a hot take, and I'm not afraid to be a dickhead, because I already know, I'm very self-aware of who we are and at, what stage we are at. So it kind of gives me more liberty to be a dickhead. Because less responsibility. I don't know. Okay, Harry Styles, shit. I'm sorry. I really don't like Harry Styles at all. At all.
He's got some good songs.
No, he doesn't. What's a good song?
I think they're fun, catchy. What's the new one?
Actually, I do have this is probably my more controversial hot take.
More controversial than Harry Styles.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Okay.
I'm preparing myself.
I have always been a huge SZA fan.
Yep.
The new album.
I really liked
doesn't
that.
really do it for me.
I listened to it on my way back from work.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
It's cuffing seat. I don't know. The melodies aren't doing it for me. I was a huge fan of her in my later high school years. I don't know. I guess it's just it's a bit more pop.
That's crazy because that album is got crazy good reviews.
Oh, yeah. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, I know.
This is why it's a hot take.
Yeah,
but I disagree with you on Harry Styles. I've always been too cool to like Harry Styles. I was like, oh, I don't like him. And I saw the show.
Oh, you're at the show?
Yeah, and
okay.
I'm converted. The man can put on a show.
Okay.
Well, also when you're in that big stadium, you've got all these adoring people. It's an experience whether you like the artist or not.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I think he's just got pheromones or something. I don't know if it's good music or if it's his body. Not body visually, just spiritually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All of them at once, maybe.
Yeah. He's like a church leader or something. Everybody's just...
Well, that's the thing. He has a real cult following. I like him. I love the music, but yeah, the following borders on a bit weird at times.
Well, it's really crazy because we haven't had pop stars that big since the 80s. Here's him and maybe Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
These are the biggest,
Taylor Swift's another level.
Yeah, these are the biggest stars in 20, 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're living through the peak of the hysteria, which is so strange. Because you even think 10 years ago, who did we have that was that level? Maybe Justin Bieber, but not really.
Taylor Swift was pretty big.
Have you been to a Justin Bieber show?
No, I haven't.
The screaming is loud.
Yeah, I can
awesome.
imagine. Still though, even now? Now that he's a bit
not
older?
anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's fallen off.
Yeah.
That's my unpopular opinion. That's probably quite popular.
That's funny. No, Harry Styles just really... Maybe I just don't like his outfits very much. Maybe I find him a bit... I don't know. We're not going to get into the queer baiting discussion, but
We're not.
He's not the first guy to wear a dress.
Oh, no.
Why do we care?
I think it's absurd people that act like he's doing something completely unexplored territory.
He's just wearing flares.
Yeah.
And he wears those feather bows. No, okay, I'm going to stop here.
Let's not get into.
Let's go to the
Let's
next
not
one.
recreate the Maddie Healy podcast.
Everybody unfollows YouTube. No,
Okay.
we love it.
The final question, back to you guys. Explain your sound in 3 words. It's quite challenging, but what would you pick?
Do we do 3 each or
super
You
freaking
can have
cool.
3 each.
Super
There we go.
freaking cool. That's great.
That's not my answer.
I would say I don't know. It's tense, a bit anxious, especially the new stuff, and just flipping awesome, man.
Okay, that was a lot more words than 3.
That was 4 words.
I agree. Tense, erratic, and shit. No,
Oh, yeah.
and mercurial. I really like that word.
What the fuck does that mean?
That's a lovely word.
It's a great word. It's
Unpack
pretty
that.
up and down. I guess everywhere, very reactive. It's more just it's a description of somebody with I don't know. Yeah, just a very reactive person, emotional, and not necessarily in a good way either. I don't know. That's how I like to describe it.
Complex. That's quite nuanced.
Yeah.
Oh.
I did want to ask about
Very
that though,
articulate.
because on the Triple J on Earth page, which I always have a cheeky look at, like it is listed as an anxiety rock band.
Anxiety rock, yeah.
What does that mean? What's it mean to be an anxiety rock band?
Well, I do. Okay, I want to clarify something.
Yep.
If people listen to the music we have out now, I think that's probably like not necessarily as true.
Not
like
as
on
true.
Spotify, you have to
Maybe
like,
Optimist.
Maybe Optimist a bit. Wait till the EP comes out. I think it's much more apparent on
Okay.
that. I don't know. It's just like it's stuff that's like just makes you like when we play it, when we write it, it's just like. Oh. And then there's the release.
Yeah,
it's a lot of like
yeah.
tension and release.
I
That's
agree.
like most of our music is a lot of like, I'm not sure if I like this, and then hopefully, if people like it, it feels like a nice release at the end. Yeah.
It feels very like props to Conrad, like rhythmically incredibly tight. And I feel like it's almost very condensed. It's like hyper vigilant almost. Like you know, when you've got like all this adrenaline in your body and you're not necessarily like screaming. It's very contained. It feels, I don't know. Like,
yeah, I think we're lucky with Conrad because he's such a mechanical drummer.
Yeah.
And then Bianca's got this beautiful sort of like...
Oh, stop it.
Oh, come on. Yeah. She's got a very like sort of flowy voice that like sits on top of everything. So, yeah, it sort of feels quite like tense and constrained.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So is the goal to make the listener feel anxious before that release?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's one of the goals. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like I think it depends on each of the songs. The new stuff that is coming out, I feel like one of the songs definitely is like a little bit more like it's just rhythmically it's like it's tight, it's very condensed, and that feeling to me is I wanted that to sound like almost a little bit anxious and maybe like a bit hesitant with the vocals as well. You'll hear it in the future, but we don't, with the songwriting, we don't necessarily go into it with like, we want somebody to feel this way. I think what's good about us is it's very incidental and we kind of stumble into it. And then if we say that's really good, we build off of it. It's very much like just listening to ourselves and like not necessarily trying to describe an emotion, but just feeling it in the music and creating like an emotion in itself in the song, you know. Does that make sense? It's a bit abstract, I guess, maybe, but...
Yeah, I would say when we go into it, it's not so much trying to get... Okay, I've started this aesthetics course this semester.
Yes!
It's going to get so pretentious. But there's this guy called Collingwood who talks about exploratory... Art is like... He says thinks it's like an exploration of emotion. I think that's what we do. We don't really go into it with any like predetermined outcome or any predetermined response, but... I don't know, maybe we'd hope that people feel like we felt when we were writing it, which is quite excited. Like, I get quite excited when we write.
Okay, so like an excited anxiety.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's my favourite little fact, that anxiety or nervousness and excitement, it's like biologically the exact same symptoms.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about positive, like, it's about, just how you view this situation.
Like, it's like opening, like, we want it to feel like opening an email to find out if you've been accepted into your dream like uni course or like completely rejected. And you're
what a good
screwed.
analogy,
We're talking about uni a lot today, hey? I guess it's because we're here. This is
on
the...
Uni Tunes.
On Uni Tunes, indeed.
There we go. So, your new EP, End His Echo, with a little dash at the beginning.
And quotation marks.
Yeah. I don't even know about the quotation marks. So to quote, that's a question. Why is it in quotation marks? If you can disclose that at this time.
I think...
I don't know if it's something that we should disclose.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a bit
we'll
of...
let people listen.
Okay.
I'll just say this. A lot of our songs draw from older stories that are in the cultural canon, and if people listen with that in mind, they might... I don't think it's exactly... It's not that deeply hidden, and they can probably work it out themselves.
Yeah, once you know one thing, you can like run with it. I think with these lyrics, it was definitely for me like challenging myself a little bit more, at least. Not necessarily thematically, but like technically. So there's a few things going on, but if you catch on to like one little bit of like knowledge about what we're talking about, it's so easy. Just like everything else kind of makes sense. It's not as complicated as you think.
Yeah.
Basically, I can't think beyond, like one. That's a joke, but you'll. I don't want to give away too much. I'm sorry. I hate to be that person.
No. Keep the intrigue. I mean, it's only just over a week away at the time of recording.
Yeah, that's pretty scary, man.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, we're kind of stressed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're stressed. How do you think audiences will respond?
I think they'll like it. I hope they like it. I mean, like I say, it's not so much about how they respond. We're just happy to have stuff out in the world.
Yep.
But the response when we've played these songs live has been very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the title song. So I hope people will get the same out of it that maybe they do live. And hope they like the show. We've been practicing a lot for the show and making this a very unique Euterpe show. It's not like every other show. Like there's a lot more going on in this one.
Yeah. I think the audience response is going to be interesting. It's definitely like not what you would expect entirely. The first 2 songs off the EP, like they make sense, but then the last one is a bit like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You'll hear it once it's out. It'll make more sense, but that's kind of that's what I'm a little bit afraid of, is that people are going to respond, a bit, negatively towards that. But hopefully it goes down well. Yeah. We like the songs.
Yeah, we're happy with it.
Well, if it's true to you as a band, then that's what's most important.
Yeah. At that point in time, absolutely. I think it's a very good synthesis of everything.
Yeah, okay. I will say it's a strange thing because we've moved on from this musically. We're well under this. We're writing the next EP now. So
already.
Yeah, for us it feels a bit tired. But I hope people think it sounds fresh. It's just really hard to put ourselves in that headspace.
I think these songs, I actually disagree, Oscar. I think whenever we play these particular songs, they don't feel tired. Come on. We enjoy the title track. Like everybody gets so in our band, we love playing it.
Yeah, it's so bouncy. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because you also did write in your Instagram post that it's both representative of what you've done so far and a little bit of a taste of the future. So how has it been synthesizing, I guess, past, present and future for your band in one kind of debut record?
Yeah.
You can take that one.
So I guess chronologically, like the songs, some of them were written a while ago, some are a bit more recent. But the title track is stylistically just a lot more, I guess, it's just a lot more similar to the stuff that we're going to be putting out in the future. It definitely takes a very different direction lyrically as well as musically and technically. But it's hard to describe until you actually hear it. It's a very different style. I think the 3 songs on the EP, they represent the 3 different styles that we almost like to tap into,
exactly,
if that makes sense. I guess that's kind of that's how I see it. They're very just indicative to me of particular eras, I guess, of our development.
Yeah, we've been talking about it like eras. It's so silly to be 2 years in and be talking about eras, but it's not Tulips. We're not making songs like that anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're the same people, right? So you can only we're going to be writing similar songs, but it's definitely a bit of a turn. I think we don't want to get stagnant. We don't want to stay in the same place. We were talking about this before. If it's described as boring or expected, that's where I throw in the towel. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because you are a relatively new band, and it seems that it's safe to assume you've been going through some pretty rapid evolution sonically.
Yeah,
definitely.
What is that testament to just playing a lot?
Well, we need to practice more. We try and practice when we can, and recently we've been doing a lot of practicing. But it just when you're starting out, you got to start simple. If we were bringing the ideas we are now to our first practice, they would not have turned out well. Because we just would not have had the...
Right.
It's so strange when you're a band. I'm sure a lot of people empathise with this. Or playing on a team sport or something, where you just become familiar with how other people play and how they write, and you play to them. Yeah. And it stops being about it's almost like when you start, you've been given the song, you're just I'm just going to add something.
Okay.
But now we're building off each other way more.
It's definitely a little bit more motivated in terms of the songwriting, and this comes with practice as well and experience. We started off, however long ago it was now, but we've also changed as people quite a bit since then.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, so we've gone, it was pretty much fresh out of coming into uni, and with lockdown and stuff, there's not much room for development, I guess, emotionally. But now we're changing as people, and I think it's reflected in the music and the songwriting as well. Yeah. Just another thing that I really appreciate about our band, and a testament to Oscar definitely, is that it's conscious songwriting. I think there's a bit of with a few bands that are out there, and this is, not a generalization, to everybody, but I think it comes with a sense of a little bit of a privilege when you can afford to not be as intricate, detailed, and I guess articulate in terms of the songwriting, and you don't have to be as technical because you can just get away with it. And I think that's I resent that. I guess Australian music, it's that lazy. whatever, like, you know, blasé idea. And that's great. And if people like that, that's amazing. I think it's just for me and for our band, we're doing something a little bit different, if that makes sense. So, like, it's all about, like, conscious songwriting and about intention. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like we take ourselves really seriously because we don't. Like, we're very much, you know, aware of how young we are. I think, maybe we're just a little bit narcissistic.
Yeah, that's a hint of what's now.
Hint of what's to come, yeah. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent.
No, it was good. So I suppose with all this change, what do you want this, because this is your debut EP, you've only got 2 singles out. What do you want this to say about Euterpe as a band?
I think it's a more definitive statement of who we are, pretty much. Yeah.
Who you are now or who you've been over the course of the 2 years?
Who we are now.
Definitely. Again, like, we have to grow. If we're the same, that's, like, the worst thing to me. It's definitely who we are now, and again, a little bit of what's to come as well. I think the title track is a good testament to all of our technicality as well.
Okay.
You know, for each...
Just, like, getting tighter,
Yeah, all the members. Definitely. I'm always amazed. I'm always gobsmacked when we're in rehearsal. I'm like, how do they come up with this? It's pretty cool. So hopefully people can hear that and like it.
Yeah, well, I'm getting really excited just hearing about it because it sounds like a lot of thought, a lot of intention, and a lot of growth has been put into this EP. So I think it's definitely unfair to assume this is going to be anything like what listeners have heard before from you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. Well, you have talked about your show on the 24th of March at Factory Theatre. Have any of these songs never been played live before?
Yes, one. Or maybe 2. We haven't decided yet.
Ooh.
Oh, so of the set list, sorry, I thought you meant off the EP. I was going to say, no, we played all those songs live, but the set list that we're playing at the Factory, yes, there are a few new things and also new additions to other songs.
New arrangements.
Oh, cool.
It's definitely going to be very different to what we've done previously. Again, I think we're applying more of that intent to actual performance.
Yeah, I think for us last year we got in a bit of a space where we were just playing every show that came our way. Pardon me. And it was just like, we'll just do a show this weekend. We'll play the exact same songs the exact same way that we did last time.
Yep.
We weren't even practicing in between these shows sometimes. That's how frequently we were doing them. So
and
it
that's
kind of
not
felt
a good
like,
thing,
it's not a
by
good
the
thing
way.
for
That's
us.
not like, you know, we're so cool, we get all these gigs. Like, it's not. Because when it's not a good thing.
Yeah, we just ended up diminishing returns. Like, so now for the 24th, so much has gone into this, not only on the songwriting side, but on the bit, like we were talking about visual presentation earlier. Just the marketing, putting money into marketing. Yeah. Well, not money, but time, and a little bit of promotion, like monetarily, like on promoting reels and stuff. And then just also like meeting up with other creatives like yourself or people who are doing stuff, like collaborating with people. Like we've sent so many emails out to people, like...
I guess actually trying to reach out and collaborate with like, you know, local, like other artists and, you know...
Yeah, there's so much happening in this city. It's crazy.
So much.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
insane.
The groundswell here... People talk about Sydney not having a good music scene. Dude, you can see like probably one of the best bands you've seen in like 5 years on a Saturday night.
Yeah, that is. I keep saying it. I've seen shows in Sydney that cost me $12, and they were one of the best concerts I've ever seen.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's so true.
Because I think people like the idea. They like to say, "Oh, it's all shit." You know, it's all shit, Sydney. Yeah. It's just like you got to look for it.
Yeah. Oh, it's there. You don't even have to look that far.
No, exactly.
It's there.
It's just all it takes is like taking a risk on artists. Like, sure, maybe you haven't heard them before, but that's why you go see a show. And maybe it's great. It's probably great. Maybe it's shit. Who cares?
Just go to a gig.
Just go to a gig.
Don't even think about it. If you've got nothing to do on a Friday night, like.
In fact, if you've got nothing to do on Friday, the 24th of March.
I think everybody listening will have something to do.
What is on Friday, 24th of March?
Okay, so it's our EP launch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, crazy. I know.
Brilliant. Well, it's at the Factory Theatre. Can you talk me through that decision? Why is this the right place for this show?
Well, the Factory's a great legacy venue, I guess. It's just a nice room. The sound's been good in the past. Pretty accessible to people, I would hope.
Yeah.
And also, we wanted to do this one bigger.
Yeah.
Our last launch was... Sorry.
No, please.
Our last launch was at the Alley, which is a great venue, but I think we almost felt a bit constrained by that, and we want to do something... This wants to feel, for us, like a bit of a new chapter, like we're getting bigger. You want to feel like you're expanding.
Growing,
growing with each show, so yeah.
Okay, for sure. When was the last show you played?
That was months ago.
The one, I wouldn't count it, but the uni, like the Welcome Fest show,
that
was a short little...
Oh, did you do a Welcome Fest show?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. I mean, it was a great gig. It was pretty fun. I wouldn't consider that as like a gig for us, like a, like a organised gig, but before that, it's been like since December.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So you've taken like a needed break to make this really something special.
Well, like I said earlier, like we were just gigging so much in the second half of last year, we were kind of burnt out. So, Yeah,
and it's also like supply and demand, right? So really making it special.
Yeah.
An event that people like need to go to.
Yeah.
Well, do you regret that period of gigging a lot? Or do you feel like it was probably necessary, even though it wasn't?
I don't regret it.
I don't regret it.
I think we met some awesome people, great musicians, had some great gigs, had some not so great gigs. We've had both. It's just learning. Like often when you get in your head about like, oh, how well's the band doing? I forget to realize that like, if myself 5 years ago could see where I am now, I'd be stoked. I'm like, you're playing gigs regularly. You got people coming to see them every now and again. You're with musicians you like. You're making music you like. Like, I just feel stoked to be here, and I don't regret any of that time. It's just, I think now we want to try and take it a bit more seriously. Yeah,
agreed.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Well, on that note, what does the future hold for Euterpe?
Well, if any record labels want to come knocking on the door, my address is I don't know. We're just putting out music we like. Like I said, being a bit more exclusive with when we play.
Yep.
Making events. I think we want to just really refine like our image as a band. What would you say?
Well, we've got some other exciting things in the works outside of like gigging and EPs. Nothing that I can. I'll keep some things secret, but there's definitely some like projects that we've got going on
with other
plans.
local bands.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Cool.
That could potentially be a really big thing, like for us and those bands as well, and I guess the scene in a way, if you can call it that. Am I privileged enough to call it the scene?
There's definitely a scene here.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
That show you guys did at the Lansdowne. That's a scene.
Yeah, totally.
You got what? You got soul. You got hip hop. You got all sorts. Like,
There's
There's shit happening, man.
But I think it's about now just challenging ourselves, because what also got to us in that period of gigging like every week, every 2 weeks was it felt a bit like it takes away the uniqueness of it, and it also just gets us into the same rhythm, and it becomes very mundane. And we loved it. I loved every single gig that we play is fun, right? But you can't challenge yourself, and you can't say, well, what can I do instead of like just playing gigs? How can I actually challenge myself as a musician and as a performer? Because that's what we are really. If we were just musicians, we'd be playing it and not showing people. But we have to question like, we're on stage, but how do we make this more than just the songs? Like, how do we make it different and unique? And, what other ways can we be a musician outside of just playing, right? I think that's what we're kind of like tapping into. And also possibly leaving Sydney and maybe, spreading out all across Australia.
Doing some shows in other cities and stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, stuff like that.
That's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, exciting stuff. I did want to ask, because you've talked a lot about evolving your sound in the studio and also evolving your performance on stage. Do you think the, building out your sound, creating new music really informs making the show new and different and more exciting? Or do you think that you do also need that very deliberate focus on the show, or a bit of both?
I think it's both. I don't know, Oscar, how you feel about it, but we've got the new songs that we have, that have been in the works recently. I think they're defining definitely a new period for us. And in a way, it does reflect, I think, for me at least, as, in my singing, how it will be performed. Oscar, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's strange,
Yeah.
You can sort of, I can, in my mind, categorize all that we've done into, like, pretty distinct chunks of the band, and I think this new show is definitely informed by the new music.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And informed, I guess, by our outside experiences as well. This is going to be a very unique Euterpe gig in that it's going to be... It definitely will.
Saying too much.
Yeah, without going into my personal life, perhaps, but it's definitely going to be a very emotionally charged
I was
performance.
going to use those exact words.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
there you go.
So it's a show not to be missed, is what
Definitely
I'm hearing.
not. You know, if I start
actually-
crying on stage, I think that's something that could go viral on your Instagram if you get a video of that. So come for that.
Honestly, though, I think the show's going to be great. We've got some great supports. We've got all sorts happening, man. It's going to be
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's been really exciting hearing about all this. But before we let you go, we've got to ask, as we always do for 2 songs, one that's a personal favourite, and then one that you both agree on as a new song to go onto our playlist.
Oh, okay.
One of your own. It can be from the new EP, and we can add it next week.
Well, obviously,
you-
Well,
we're gonna
obviously,
choose
we
that.
want put the song And His Echo on there.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely And His Echo.
It is The
for-
Rapture. That's the name of the band. And the song is I Need Your Love. It's great.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's my
Nice.
one.
So that's your song. Well, I already said The Golden Ratio, but that, honestly, I think I'm going to say it again.
Yep.
Like, when I heard that song, I was like, this is what our music needs to sound like. I was like, my third eye opened when I listened to it for the first time. So it needs to be there.
Cool.
for me.
All right.
And then, I don't know, one together is like,
Maybe.
yeah, we'll just say And His Echo by us.
Fantastic.
Come on, we got to give, maybe like, Glueland, I feel like has followed the
Alright,
band from the
fine.
big. What?
Glueland by Do Nothing.
I think maybe, I guess there's one that we keep making fun of, which is a thing from Black Country New Road.
Oh.
But we probably, you know, we make fun of it too much. Maybe Julia Jacqueline.
Oh, Julia Jacqueline, Body by Julia Jacqueline.
Yeah,
Cool.
let's
Put
do
that
that.
All right, exciting. Fun times. Thanks so much for joining
No
me
worries.
in the studio. We cannot wait for everything new coming from you. We're really excited. And to everyone listening, you know, this is a band that is rapidly growing, so you need to be closely watching and
True.
following what's happening
Let's hope
because
so.
exciting stuff's in the works. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
guys.
Thank you so much.
Check out Uni Tunes, man.
Thank you
Hell
very
If
much.
yeah.
they're listening, they probably have. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon on stage.
Back to
soon, man.
class. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to you.